so much. Our next speaker is Alma Abdulhadi Jadala, and she is somebody who got her PhD in conflict analysis from George Mason University. She works on issues that are near and dear to the heart of Code Pink. One is the issue of women's international leadership and development of women in leadership roles, and the other is the issue of conflict resolution. She's also the president of an organization called Common Denominator, and she is somebody who works on many issues, including the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So please give a hand to Dr.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. In the spirit of this welcoming tone, I would like to, I wish I had the privilege to give you all my 5 minutes. I think we were touched and moved, and in the spirit of Code Pink, we are here to share our expertise, not as individuals, but collectively. I think I told Medea, I'd like to look at this not just by speaking about the Arab-Israeli conflict, because I know Code Pink has been there and they have first-hand accounts, and I know that Dina is speaking on Sunday to kind of address the issue. I am of Palestinian descent, and of course that probably has a lot of influence on who I am today and why I was working towards an advanced degree in conflict resolution, because like you probably, we have to pose the question, why is it in the 21st century, with all the education and the think tanks around Washington and the research and all the credentials in this room, I bet you if I asked all of you how many degrees are in the room, or even intuitively how many rich cultures of traditions and stories are there, we do have a lot of knowledge about human behavior, and yet look at our behavior in the 21st century. Look what happened in Gaza recently, and look at how people are continuing to actually dismiss the recent education and knowledge that we have around changes around the world. And so the issues that I'm really working on is to gain a better understanding of why we are not getting anywhere. And I don't think it's because we are lazy or because institutions like Code Pink or individuals like yourself are not taking action. But I think there are a few factors, and I'm not making this an academic lecture, but I wanted to share with you some of the things that we know, that we will never be a conflict-free society. If you dreamt about one, that will never happen. But what we know, like Code Pink is doing, is that we could engage in problems a little bit differently. We could think of them a little bit differently. We could experience them a little bit differently, and we could actually introduce emotions and sentiments in the way we engage with them. So what does this mean for me personally? It means that the first thing I have to do is really understand who I am. And I grew up quite privileged, except that I remember very clearly the incidents of Sabra and Shatila in 1982. And my first child was born, and we were watching, of course, very dramatically the pictures from Lebanon and the massacre. And then Chairman Arafat came out and he said, and I had just given birth, he said, "Oh, don't worry. Palestinian women will always provide us with men and children, and that will be the case." And I remember that I said to myself, and I wasn't in graduate school then, I was just a parent, I said to myself, nobody is taking my son away from me. It's not going to happen. And so, in reflection, I guess, my study of conflict and how it has impacted my life and the recent events have led me today to do a couple of things. First is literally understand who I am and why am I motivated to be working on issues related to women, related to participation. But more importantly, understanding our sense of agency. And I was very pleased to see that Code Pink is actually encouraging all of us to think of ourselves not as victims, but actually as leaders working towards things that are important for us, whether it's for someone you know, or for someone you care for, or someone you just met, like we did today before this event. The other thing that I'm interested in doing right now is actually understanding, and this was very much resonant in the presentations is what are the learnings that I got from my background, from the stories that we have heard, from our culture. And again, the war is, I truly believe, is socially constructed. And if we really take a step back and look at the narrative of what we were told as children, to react to things, how to engage with one another, who is this other person, how should we reach out to them, how we should understand them, I think is quite important. I don't have the answer. I usually make a joke that I have a PhD in conflict and no resolution. And I really feel that we have developed so many processes, and one of the dangers that we have to watch out for now is the co-optation of the peace movement. There are so many think tanks that have peace under their umbrella, their mission statements, but they're not really doing peace for resolution of conflict. They have actually co-opted it and given awards to people who have hurt other people, who have actually promoted the trade of goods that can do harm. And we can go into many, many stories around this. And so if I leave you with a message is to actually reflect on your association with any initiatives that deal with social change. Are they legitimate? Are they authentic? Do they carry the values that you believe in? And if your own personal values have changed, acknowledge that and kind of look